Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hungry Bleak Show. My name is Antonio Pomares. So, this is the first show of the year. I took a little bit of a hiatus just to relax and chill. As you can tell, the phone's ringing right now. Everybody's trying to call me. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk. I'm not trying to talk to anybody. Just everybody leave me alone. That's it. But there's been so much going on with comics that I didn't realize I had so many comics to read. And not even from just regular buying comics on Wednesdays, but also Kickstarters, everything, flood of comics. And one has not missed yet. And I am so glad and so proud. So today I have just, yeah, I really enjoyed this comic. I'm at a really happy place now where I'm getting these comics that I'm reading are just really hitting, and they're each hitting me in a different way. And I love that feeling. It feels nice. It's kind of rejuvenating, and it's a great way to start the year. As this is the first episode of 2024, Happy New Year. I hope everything went well. I hope you had a great time for your new year with your friends, your loved ones, your family, whoever it was. Was it good? Great. Did you have a good? Was everything? Yeah. Was it? You all know how I like to talk to y'all, and y'all don't listen, but y'all answer anyway. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So today's guest, very lucky to have on. I just don't. I really felt this comic, and when I show you the purple and the blue, you'll know what I'm talking about. I absolutely love it, and it was just this comic that you really felt. I felt the journey, and there was a favorite part for me that I really loved. It's something that I love in comics to begin with, but enough of my rambling and yada 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 going on. I had a little bit of caffeine and sugar, so I'm out there. So, folks, please welcome Shamel, aka Sketch.
Hey, how you doing? How you
How
doing?
you doing, man? How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, definitely.
Uh, First off, thank you very much for being here. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk about your comic and to just give us, a heads up on what it is and about how you got into the art game.
Oh, okay. Definitely. Well, I've been doing art since I was about, I want to say 6 or 7.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
would probably lean towards 6. My aunt Daisy, uh, she called me her little etch a sketch because that's the thing I used to draw on all the time. So the name kind of stuck and it just became sketch after a while. Um, and then as I grew up, I used to try to make comics. And my dad, one time, he told me, if you really want to really make a comic, try to just draw what you think and see if it interprets. Like
Hmm?
if people can follow along with just the drawings without any words, then you've done a good job. And then you can add the words from there just to add more context and things like that. But that's pretty much what got me started. And then by the time I turned 20, I started tattooing, and
Mhm.
I took that pretty serious. But as an artist, that kind of allowed me to elevate my tattooing work because I would just draw on the spot. That's kind of like my niche, so I would just draw whatever, and then you know as time went on, one of my friends, he was actually originally my one of my middle brother, my younger brother Steve. It was his friend to start with. They went to school together, but we all used to hang out a lot. And then we were at his house, and he wanted to do something for his children. He was talking about legacy and those things, and he wanted to tell a good story. And I happened to have my art book with me, and I was sitting at his kitchen table drawing while he
Okay.
was feeding us, some food that I think his wife or his mother had made. And he was looking at my art book, and he was like, "Yo, can you hold on a second?" He went to the back room, and he went to the back room and got me a paper that he had. I guess he does story time with his kids,
Hmm.
and he made up some story, and he was like, "Do you think you could illustrate this?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "How long? How long before you get it back to me?" I said, "I'm gonna do it right now."
That.
And that's and that's another thing. The reason why I'm called sketch is because of my rate, the speed in which I draw and
Mm.
finalize a drawing. Like that's kind of my thing. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just the way I am. And so that night I drew like maybe like 3 pages, 4 panels, different panning and everything, and he liked it. He was like, "Yo, what do you think about doing a comic book or a children's book?" I said, "I mean, all you gotta do is write it, and then we go from there." And that's pretty much how it started.
That's like that's why I was talking about earlier about like a perfect storm. Like things just happen and they click together. You know what I mean? So it's like an effortless thing. And because I know a lot, you have to look for an artist or somebody that that hits a certain style that you want, or that you or that you have to click with. So sometimes you have to go through artists or go through writers. And like I was saying with your comic, the way it looks is like it was a perfect storm. Like it just flowed. Like it was like you were both writing and drawing and coloring everything at the same time, which is what I like so much about it. And the art and the colors just, yeah, it just flow. You know what? Let me just show the comic because my words are not doing it justice.
Thank
And the beauty of the truth, I really enjoyed like everything about the comic. Now, can you
very
tell us a
much.
bit about the comic?
Absolutely. So this cover was actually made by the colorist, the guy who did the colors. His name is TD,
Hmm.
and his Instagram is Art of TD. He's really like his. He even has like a little course on YouTube where he teaches how to do color.
Oh
Um,
wow,
so you can actually get this done. Actually, I'll send you the link to it later. I don't know why I didn't think of that ahead of time.
it's all
Um,
right. It's all right, man.
but but he does amazing artwork. His color, his flow, everything is good. So this is one of the alternative covers that we have for the book, and that's the main character right there. He's a traveler, a time traveler, and he's known as Hunter, Paul the Hunter. But he's pretty dope character, and
Mm.
he's a Thropian. He's not just a regular human. Um, so that explains that look right there with the golden eyes and the
Yes. Oh, whoops.
yeah. He's not just your basic, run of the mill superhero, so to speak. The world that we built is designed to reflect kind of like the dynamics of what life is like, for the average guy. Except this guy happens to be a little bit different, very special. Um, and then this is him and his wife, and
Hmm.
the crazy part is his wife is her own thing. Like she's not even human. She's not a fallen angel, right? But she is an angel. So
Oh,
she does have premonitions and things of that nature. Um, and the creature that she's talking to is a fae, and this is her. Her name is Evol, and she is a fae queen.
so this is what I was talking about when I was saying the blues and the purples. Because look at the blue, the hue of the skin. I absolutely love. First off, the art is just incredible, and then the coloring is so spot on. Like even the way the glint on the earrings, like it all, like every little bit
So
is an
dope.
added detail. You know what I mean? That sometimes you may not get from certain comics, and that's not shading anybody. But I like little things like this that the first time I didn't notice the earring until right now because the first time I was so caught by the skin and the hair. So this time I'm seeing the earring and I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely. Which I love, like I said, the blue, but then the purple when they're in bed, like not purple, well, almost like a kind of a
Yeah,
purple tone.
like a
I
purple.
love that against our skin. Like it always adds something more. And purple is like my favorite color, so I'm biased on that. So that's beautiful. I just want to throw that in there before while you were talking because I wanted to show and
Absolutely.
highlight that. It's beautiful.
It's dope. I mean, he the way he does these colors. Um, One of my really great friends. He's my daughter's godfather, Keith Cross. When I showed him this book, Keith is dope, and his books are amazing. But when I showed him
Absolutely.
this book, he's his first word was, "Whoever colored this complements your style of art."
Yes, yes, yes.
That was the first thing that he like. He's seen me draw, since forever, but he's never really seen my artwork in color. Um,
Oh,
and a lot of people that know me, a lot of times when I draw stuff, some people don't even know the range in which I can draw. Some people think I just do fantasy art. So when they
Hmm.
see me do a portrait or something like that, they're a little shocked. Um, but it's because I don't normally color my work. I'm just I'm super old school. I love the black and gray, and when I do color, I use markers and color pencils and things of that nature. But this color tends to make my work pop, and the reason why this artist used this like this purple that you see right here, like this purplish blue tint, is
Hmm.
because it's reflective of the moonlight. Like when you're asleep in the dark and you've got your window open and the moon is just shining in, that's what it makes me feel like.
Mm.
It's and everything is designed to kind of encapsulate the strength of the wolf, like what it's like to really be a hunter, but what it's like to also be at peace. So when they're
Mm.
asleep, they're at peace, and then when he finally gets woken up to go to work, because that's what he's about to do. He's about to go to work.
Yes.
He's about
he,
to go to work.
he he clocked in for an extra shift on this one. I
Yeah,
was like, yo, all right, bet,
and
yes.
the king's messenger, who's like a ninja, knocks on his door, and his wife answers the door, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna," she's like, she's letting him know what's going on in her dream, and then he wakes up like, rather than wait for something to happen, he is already ready to get dressed. Like,
Hmm.
then you get a knock at the door, and she's like, "What's going on?" And he pulls out this scroll, like, "This is what the king is saying, and we need you to go take care of this, or we need you to tell your husband to go take care of this." And then he does the ninja vanish, like Ninja Turtles, like ninja
Bet.
vanish, quick, boom. And now he has to say, goodbye for now. I'll see you later. And he says goodbye to his wife, and he's about to go to work.
Yeah, I don't want to give everything away about the comic because I want y'all to get this, grab it. But this is what I liked was when he did go to work and seeing his change over the course of the battle, which is something that I like. I have a thing about vampires and lichens, werewolves. I think they're just I love when they're battling and I love when they're together because they're like when you think about like classic movie monsters, those are the first two that you think of really because we all grew up with like that Frankenstein, the Mummy, like those classic Universal monsters. So those two will always have a place in my heart. So seeing him first go to work and battle, but then over a bit you start seeing him like a bit of a change in his demeanor and also in his appearance is what made me I actually kind of I had to adjust myself in my seat and I was like hunched like I had to get forward when I was reading it. I was like, all right, bet, yeah. And it pulled me in more because I like that intensity was there, which automatically hit me. You can see right here the change in the face starts to happen more and more, and it's almost like again the coat, like the fur around the collar, almost represents more of that feral nature coming out as well, which I love. I don't know if that was intentional, if you meant to do it, whatever, but that was how I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm feeling this now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think, and this happens, and I don't always recognize it when it happens until it's over. But when I'm drawing, depending on the intent behind the drawing,
Hmm.
and this is true because it's kind of like a spiritual thing, but you tap into stuff sometimes, and you can convey that in your image, especially if you mean it. And as I was drawing the character, I kept trying to focus on, like, when he first starts to fight, he's not upset. It's just a fight. But as the fight continues, he starts getting a little bit peeved. Look, y'all get on my nerves now. So you gotta, it's almost like, um, okay, I'm going from 1% to 5%, and then as the fight goes, he ups the percentage of power, and every time he changes the percentage of power, it changes the percentage of what he looks like. Now, the funny thing is, I was trying to convey, it's something that we all like go through. I went through it as a child. Anger management and
Nice.
finding a focal point for your anger. Like I've always been a bigger guy. As a child, I looked like the Hulk's left nut. I had muscles on top of muscles. I was huge.
Mm.
And so for me, drawing him having control over his anger, like able to control it, was a
Hmm.
big deal. And it's to me, it signifies the mark of the wolf, like the power of an actual wolf. They don't just go off for no reason. There's always a reason. So I even drawing his clothing, it had to be very, very purposeful. So even the fur around the, like you said, the fur around the collar of his jacket, it was designed to symbolize the strength of a wolf, that mane that wraps around their neck. So that was the intent. In the hair, even his locks, lock braids, is what I call them, because they like
Mm.
braids with their locks. Um, but yeah, that was definitely the intent behind that.
Yeah, it definitely like I said, I love a good fight, especially because I'm trying to get back into anime even more. And I have a bunch of manga that I love to read that I got like years ago, but I never finished the series. But I have like 8 and 10 like volumes of certain series. So there's a point where he's fighting, and I absolutely loved it because like this moment right here was just a perfect, like first you see the character is like he's telling you, look, stop, just, and you start seeing that like you said, the anger coming out, and then you hear this sound like, that perfect anime sound was almost like a chime.
Hmm.
I don't know how to describe it. And then next thing you know, you hear and they're standing there calm as everything, and then the enemies are just falling to pieces. So this panel right here, the scene right here, it hit me so much, and it almost reminded me of Hiei from the Yu Yu Hakusho, which is one of my
Ah,
favorite characters. One of my
yeah.
favorite characters. Him, Vegeta, and there's a character in a Netflix anime called the Black Wing King. They're all shorter characters because I'm short, so I identify with shorter characters. But that's what this hit me, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is, because you still see the ferocity in the eyes, but the skill is so precise and so cold blooded that it's a balance of the two.
Yeah.
So that feralness is pushing that precision to a different level, and I love the balance of that in this panel right here. It was awesome. It was diabolical for me.
Thank you, thank you.
You know,
I pushed it on that one, but yeah.
yeah, it's a great comic. Do you have what are your plans for the story to go forward? Do you have a
So
certain amount of issues? Would you like
yeah,
it to be a whole trade?
the issue is we're doing the term is now made a regular thing, but we're doing a metaverse. So
Okay, okay, okay.
it doesn't have an actual cap for this particular story. The cap I think is at 100.
Oof.
There's 100 issues because there's so many characters as far as like just the family.
Hmm.
It's 6 children, um, and they're not regular children; they're fae. So, um, and now this is funny. Now this is a little tidbit of information for people who might not know this. So the idea of angels and demons, um, in many folklores, they're considered fae. They're not considered um, just basic biblical.
Hmm.
That's where they come from. So when I do like a vampire, a werewolf, or a brownie, or any creature like that, they're all within the same realm of magic, which is the Fey realm. Even on a spiritual level, because they're not of us. There's something
Right.
more and different. So I call all those creatures angels, demons, even the mythological ones. They're all considered Fey. And so the way the story rolls out is that because he's not 100% human, of course his children wouldn't be either, and they all
Mm.
run the spectrum of the emotional spectrum. So one child has the issue of aggression. The other one is she's always searching for peace. The other one looks for love and things of that nature. So that's and they all are trying to find their dad. So this is telling the story, a complete story of a family, 360 degrees back to the same point of them coming back together after what's thought to be a loss. So to read the story to find out how that happens is the best part.
That's what I loved about the story was because before you even let me read it, you were saying that it was a story about family in essence. So in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going to read this slice of life story about a family trying to get together. I didn't have in my mind anything about fae, fantasy, fights, anything. In my head, I had, okay, I'm going to read a story about family and how they're getting together, and just family issues and everything. So that's what I had set in my head. And then when I started reading it, I was like, wait, hold on. But that's what I love, is the fact of I was ready to read this story about family and their togetherness, which I am, but it's set in this world of fae and fantasy and sword fighting and this other realm. So it just made it even better for me because I was ready to read, like I said, this slice of life comic about family getting together and trying to figure out whatever is going on. And then next thing I know, I'm seeing this incredibly beautiful, like blue skinned woman, and I'm seeing the sword, and I'm seeing the feral nature and these creatures, and I'm like, okay. And it's usually the opposite. You have to go, oh, well, it's a sci-fi fantasy story, but it's about family. I love that it was the opposite, where I was ready to read this family story, and
Yeah.
then I get this fight, and I'm like, this is probably the best family story I've ever read in my life. Okay, damn, I'm ready for more. I love that aspect of it, and you talking about the Fae. I've always loved stories about Fae ever since the Gargoyles cartoon, where they
Yes.
talked about the Fae, where they
Yes.
called them Fairfolk and Oberon, and
Yeah.
how all of them. I love stories like that, or when they call them, uh, like either the Fairfolk or Fae, or when they call them the Lilin, when they're all the children of Lilith.
Yep.
And I love those two. Those are, if you are writing a comic and you talk about vampires, okay, yeah, that's cool. That already gets me. But he would say, oh, whether the Lilin, I go, bet. When they go Fairfolk, I go, bet. Faye, bet. I'm in. You got me. I love attaching that to it because you have so much more backstory that you could add into that story with
Yes.
everything with that. And if you want to put Oberon in there or whoever, so yeah, the minute you said Faye, I immediately said Oberon. Like that was a Oberon and the Iron and Gargoyles and everything that was going on. Because I'm actually doing a rewatch. I'm
Of the
trying
old
to anyway
gargoyles.
of That was when I got Disney Plus. That was the first thing I turned on was Gargoyles. I wish they
Yeah.
had like remastered it a little bit because it's harder now because we didn't have high definition TVs and everything like that. But it's still the fact of watching it, and I can't wait to get to when they were traveling to all the different
Yeah. Of different
continents.
realms.
Yeah, different than when they were trying to get from, what was it, Camelot back to New York.
Yep.
I want to say, yeah, that hit me. So what you were incorporating into the story was making me go, yeah, yeah, bet. Like it was between the family and then realizing that it's about fantasy and the fae and these incredible fights and having those moments and hitting little nods of things was spot on. You all did an incredible job with this comic, definitely. Yeah, and give the folks the name of the comic.
It's Northern Wind Comics. Well, the name of the comic is Journey Through the Northern Wind.
Yes.
And it's done by Northern Wind Comics.
And it's definitely, it's yeah. I had so much fun reading this, honestly, and it felt like there's some writers and artists and stuff like they don't have a balance of the writing and the art. And sometimes there's a little too much dialogue, so it can kind of take away from the art. Then there are times when there's too much art and you want a little more of the dialogue because you're enjoying how these characters are coming across. This one had a nice balance where I read through it so quickly, I almost got upset. I was like, damn,
That it was over.
I want a little bit more of this. But that again hits me because if that's the case, then that means I'm ready for two, three, four, five, like I said, up to 100. I love that fact. If it's something that I have to kind of trog through, I'm like, okay. But if it's something that I get through and I'm like, there have only been a few comics like that. Invincible was one. Kirkman has a way of writing where I'm like, wait, I would be coming home to New Jersey from New York and I would buy two trades when I was up there because I was trying to catch up with the story. And I would read a trade before I knew it, like halfway through the train ride. And I'm like, damn, I don't want to read the other one because I wanted to read it at home. So it's a good problem, which I definitely appreciated with all the work that y'all did. It was phenomenal work, truly phenomenal. Love it.
Thank you very much.
And where can people get the comic?
They can actually get it online. You
Mhm.
can actually get it directly from the website, or you can go to, I want to say Northern Wind 82, and hit
Mhm.
him up directly. Uh, and it is in comic book stores, specifically downtown Manhattan. It's in a few of those, and
Nice.
it's in a couple in the Bronx, New York.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bet.
and I always keep a couple like that are in the big giant plastics.
Hmm.
Um, so if you guys, if anybody, if you want one, you can actually hit me up directly, and I can send you one like that. Um, but they're amazing, and if you want, I can actually show you one of the other covers. Uh,
Yes, yes, please.
give me 1 second. I should have grabbed it sooner. This is stuff I
That's
should have
okay.
thought about. Hold
That,
on, give me 1 second.
that's no worries, man. These are good problems. These are good problems. So, folks, as always, I'll have the links in the episode description so you can see where to get the comics. Like I said, I really enjoyed this comic on a multitude of levels, from the incredible art to the coloring, to the fight nature. So, if you're a fan of manga, if you're a fan of fantasy comics, like I was saying, comics with fae and such like that, and lichens, werewolves, or you're just a fan of comics that are just fun and that are going to take you out of it for a bit, Journey Through the Northern Women Dark Journey is definitely the one to go for. It's going to give you all those things I just told you, and so much more.
This is the
Oh, let me move so people can see that there.
this is the other cover.
Oh, that is, of the piece. Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, and this
Oof.
was this was designed. This wasn't even meant to be a cover, but the writer liked the visceral nature of the image so much. He was
Yeah.
like, "I think we're gonna just make this an alternate cover." So I had to draw. I drew it without any words or whatever, and then he just made it a cover.
That definitely is, like, that's again, that's a great cover, that it's tell you what's in there, but it also is very eye-catching, very popping. Like, you see that and you go, "Oh, I got to check that out. What is that?" So that, yeah, that's definitely like cover worthy. Truthfully, honestly,
Thank you
like
very much.
that would have been definitely something that would have, like, because if you're in a comic book shop, you definitely want something that's going to pop out, and that face, that whole image is definitely going to pop out at you. Phenomenal work by y'all. Seriously,
Thank you.
phenomenal work.
Appreciate that.
So, being a creative and all the anxiety such that comes with that, on top of being a person as well, I always like to know about self-care tips that people are doing that helps to keep them grounded. What's a self-care thing that you do that helps keep you grounded?
Um, I I play a lot of video games, especially with my son, and I draw.
Okay.
Um, or I write. It's always something that's going to drive me artistically to kind of help me get away or relieve stress. So if I'm
Hmm.
like really frustrated and I'm having not so good of a time for a few days, I'm definitely jumping into a video game with lots of guns and
Okay.
throw some down right now. One of my favorite games, me and my son play often, and if I decide to do a build, he will sit down for hours and watch. Is Remnant from the Ashes 2.
Okay.
That game is phenomenal, and I play it like it just it helps me to like de-stress and
Hmm.
just relax. Um, and then I'll write a story. I never publish them or anything like that. I just sit down and write stories. If if gaming is not what I'm feeling isn't so intense, but
Hmm.
I just still need to unwind. Then I'll just write a story, and then I'll just draw some images to it, and that goes in a book. I've done it for my son when he had a school project. We did a
Hmm.
little story about skinwalkers and illustrations,
Oh.
things of that nature, which was actually dope. We used real pictures, images of him sleeping, of the family, and I illustrated that. Um, so we do a lot of stuff like that. I do personally, and then doing stuff with my children that kind of makes me feel better. So that's pretty much how I deal with my
Nice.
issues.
The video game thing, I think that, like, builds and such like that, I think that's like the modern day equivalent to making models, because it's
Ah,
still putting, like, it kind of is like that way. Like, I play Destiny 2,
ah,
and the people that I play with are always talking about like builds and everything, certain pieces of armor and certain weapons and certain, um the things that'll be best in that area, that'll help you the most in that area, in that stage, against this fight, whatever it is. And they do. I kind of just go in, like, whatever plan they want to have is cool. I just want to gun. I just want to be like,
You
whatever you got to
destroy.
do, I will be the enforcer. Don't worry about it. I got your back. You do whatever you got to do. I just want the highest kill count of whatever we're doing at that time. And they'll do the builds, and I look at everything very intricate, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like the modern day or digital version of doing models, which you have, which I did as a kid. I did like model airplanes, and before I was even around, people did like ships in the bottle, where
Right.
that is on a whole other level. I wouldn't even
Yeah.
attempt that because I know the first time I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm done, going home. But those are all really great things to help de-stress, find your center, because that's the whole thing. And also you're having that family time as well. So those are phenomenal things to do, and to for that self-care. Another thing that self-care obviously is reading comics. Obviously, comic book fan, everything. What are three of your favorite comics?
Ooh, right now, so the first one would have to be World War Hulk.
Okay. Old or new?
Old.
Old. Okay.
Old War, like when they first started,
Yes.
when he just laid waste to everything.
World Breaker and all that
Yeah,
and
World
everything. Yeah.
Breaker Hulk.
Yep.
Yeah, when he had a wife, and like those things. That comic to me is just like well written. It's well done. Then my second one would have to be a comic called Solo Leveling.
Oh,
Um, I read that one on Manga NATO, uh, and that comic is like it's just dope.
okay. Okay.
It's like One Punch Man with swords though, but you get to see like what it's like tempered power. I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
the best way to call it. It's just a good comic. And the last one is a book, which was it's a French book. It's called Kyrios, um, and I'll spell it for you because a lot of people might let me get the spelling right. It's spelled um, Kairos.
What is that? Was there an anime made for
It
that?
was it was a there was a short like excerpt like a commercial,
Oh, okay.
and it was called Curios. It was and the I wouldn't want to give away the story to anybody, but if anybody ever wants to talk about that book, you can hit me up. There's so many things that happen in this book, and like, if you don't mind, can I show what the book looks like?
Yeah.
And this is like one of the covers right here.
Oh.
And I think this is the second volume. See, it automatically starts putting me into the actual book. And
Oh,
it
that's
plays as a
beautiful.
webtoon. And I will say that by far that is the number one, the best written, most frustrating, um, emotional inducing book I have ever read. And I'm not even like a super emotional person.
Really?
Yes. It
Okay.
makes you, it puts you on this roller coaster. And when you get to the end, um, you're going to have a personal perspective about that book that is going to come from you. The way you perceive that ending is going to be all about who you are as a person. That's the
Mm,
best way I could describe that. Yes. And
yeah.
I'm not exaggerating at all.
Okay. Okay. Those are three great. I never read um World War Hulk. I was never really a big Hulk reader. I'll be honest with you. I read some. I didn't really get into Hulk. Well, I mean, as far as reading, I didn't get into Hulk until Immortal Hulk, because it was like a horror story anthology almost. And I was like, oh, taking this character and making it more of a horror story, and it was almost like the first volume was almost like an anthology story of what not to do when you have gamma powers. And it was these different characters, and it was almost it reminded me of like a Tales from the Crypt, but with gamma radiation, because Bruce wasn't really the focal point of those. It was more these people who had dealt with gamma rays. So it was awesome. But I want to go back and actually read it. And I also watched the animated movie that they made like what 10 years ago, something like that. And
Yeah.
I love the idea of the World Breaker Hulk and just being so that nobody could take him. Everybody was just being laid waste, which he's already the strongest there is. But then him just being amped up more
Hmm.
was just, and I love the fact that there are different Hulks. And when everybody says World Breaker, you know, literally
World break.
World
Like you
Breaker.
know which one they're talking about.
That's
Yeah.
not, it's not just a moniker that means nothing. It isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was great. Solo Leveling, I've always wanted to read. They just dropped the anime on Crunchyroll.
They did.
Yeah, I went
I
to
knew it was
watch
coming
it.
out. I didn't watch it yet.
I didn't know either. Yeah, episode one is up, but it's in Japanese and subtitle in English, and it's dubbed in. I can't. I'm trying to remember, think of what language it is, but it's not English because I saw dubbed and I was like, oh, bet I'm on this, and I watched and they started speaking, and I was like, I don't know what language that is. You got me. I don't know what that is. I thought when you said dubbed, I thought you meant English, but I want to read it, but I also want to watch that
I'll
the
send you the
anime.
link to it if you want. I'll send you the link to Soul Leveling. You could read the whole thing.
I think I actually have it,
You have
which
it?
is the
Oh,
funny part, because the cover alone, the cover of the first issue, I looked at it and I was like, yo, this looks so. I love the just the darkness of it, and then the sword that he has in his hand. It just everything just looked so cool, and the premise of it. I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. I love it. Um, yeah, and for you to tell me that there's a story that's going to just kind of um wreck me emotionally and everything, I'm leery. But then I go, let me read this because those can be the books that hit you the most, and they go, yeah, and it stays in your head. Those are phenomenal recommendations and favorites. Thank you so very much for sharing that with us. I always love to know what creatives are reading. Now, this one is also a favorite of mine. I always love hearing what people have got to say. This is like one of this type of question that can ruin a relationship, build a friendship, make you fall in love, can make your day better, but can also make you go, yeah, man, I can't go there no more. And it is, what are your favorite restaurant and your favorite dish there? Now you gave me two, which I appreciate. So let's go with the first one you said is Mom's Kitchen.
Mom's Kitchen. So Mom's Kitchen. Uh,
I can't hear you right now. I apologize, folks. I don't know if you can hear me, but your audio is not there. I cannot hear you. I'm not sure what happened. No, I cannot get your audio right now. I can see you, excuse me, but I cannot hear you at all. Um, no, I cannot hear you. I can't hear you. But I know that you were talking about this restaurant, saying that well, actually both the restaurants are making me a little hungry right now. You're saying this one, Mom's Kitchen, is a favorite of yours. It looks incredible. I mean, I just mad at all this incredible food. I've never seen this place before, and you said that it's in Manhattan, correct? Can you hear me? Probably not. So, hello? No? Sorry about this, folks. There's a little bit of a snafu with our audio, unfortunately. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove you for a second, and I'm gonna bring you back in. I don't know if you can hear me. No, no, nothing. You can't hear me. I can't hear you either. We can't. Okay, folks. I apologize for all this. Um, let me try one more thing. Um, I'm going to push you out and you come back in. Cool? Okay, bet. So I'm going to take you out of there. All right. And nothing? Nope. Okay. This is what I'm going to try this feature right here. Okay. So we've talked about comics, we've talked about your projects. Now I got to ask you this very important question. What are your favorite restaurants? And both of them look incredible. I'm upset that I'm not eating at them right now, unfortunately, but they are on my list now. What have you got? The first one you told me about is Mom's Kitchen and Bar.
Yes, really good, phenomenal. Um, they make a great. My favorite dish is the ribs, the macaroni and cheese, and the veggies. And
Mm-hmm.
then for dessert, I always. Oh yeah, those their fries are really good too. By the way, so what me and my wife tend to do. This is some real greedy type stuff, but we tend to get our own plate, and then we get a third plate that we share. So she'll get what she wants. I've gotten a country fried steak as well, country
Okay.
fried chicken. And then I'll get my plate, and then we'll get like something in between. So I always get the ribs, the macaroni and cheese, and string beans.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll order like the sweet potato fries and something else like chicken fingers or something like that. And then she'll get her own plate, which is usually like salmon and mashed potatoes. Um, and then she'll always get the red velvet shake, which
Oh,
is phenomenal. It's the milkshake is huge. Then they like how you see a margarita with that salt around it, but
yeah.
it's like caramelized candy and stuff. You can actually eat it, and then they put like Kit Kat bars and a piece of red velvet cake at the top of the shake, and it's really good. It's like it's really good. Like I
Yeah, this
wouldn't, I
is
don't eat when I go there. Like I don't eat the whole day, like because
I
there's no point.
that's something that I've learned about going to New York is I try not to eat that morning
Yeah,
because I know I'm about to just lay havoc out there. Like I'm probably gonna eat twice. I'll eat like something for lunch, like breakfast, lunch, and then I'm gonna eat dinner. I know I am. So why am I even playing? I'm not going to try to eat breakfast beforehand unless there's something I have to do and I'm not going to be able to eat until later that day.
yeah.
But most times I'm like, yeah, I don't even know why I'm playing. I'm not trying to eat before I go there, and that's it, for real.
And
But
then
this looks phenomenal.
the crazy part is they got, and then this is one of their, I guess, their things. If
Hmm.
you look at the restaurant on the tables, like where you get your condiments and stuff, they're in old school lunch boxes.
For real?
Yeah,
Oh, I like that.
like it's so dope. It's like I'm like, yo, can we purchase these? They were like, I'm sorry, no. I'm like, yo, they're dope. It's like old school, like Silver Hawks, Ninja Turtles,
What?
um,
Oh
like
man.
stuff that you probably couldn't even find right now.
Yeah,
The
and if you
collector's
did,
items, it's
it
pretty
would be
dope.
like thousands of dollars probably.
Yes, yes, it's pretty
Damn.
dope.
Okay. And the next one that you got for us is 8
Is
Byte
eight
Bits.
bit bites.
8
Yes,
Bit Byte, excuse me, yes.
yes. Now this place is by far the most fun place you can go to. So pretty much when you go into the restaurant, right? You stand in line, you make your order because they make everything as you order it. So it's not nothing is pre-made. So you're going to be
Oh.
sitting there like a regular restaurant, 15, 20 minutes waiting for your food.
Right.
But while you wait at your table is a giant LCD flat screen, right?
Oh.
With a true arcade setup with the controllers, and you've got like Neo Geo, Sega, um, all the old school arcades, Altered Beast, like all those games. The old school freaking the 8-bit plane joints where you would fly the plane up and down the screen, and like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
got all those old games. Golden Axe,
Oh,
all the Street
wow.
Fighters. It's even got like Streets of Rage, all of those with Haggard. And, like it's just that's literally what it looks like. You see
Yeah,
that picture?
that looks
That's
incredible.
yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like, and it's a blast. It's a blast, and they do catering like well not catering, but you can rent out the spot for a birthday
Hmm.
party. which is to me phenomenal. But me, my wife, and my son go, and we all have fun. I call it. This is what I call it now. I call it doing the Mario. So
Nice.
when you're playing a video game and everybody just takes a turn, because there's only one player or whatever. But they
Mm-hmm.
have all their games are I think are pretty much like two player, and if it is one player, we just take turns. Like as soon as you die,
Oh
you got
yeah.
to pass the sticks, and
Yep.
that's how we play.
Just like we
But
used to do. We used to have
yeah,
like, don't die, don't die. You die, then then it's my turn.
yeah,
It's like,
it's
oh,
stick passing time, and yeah, so it's and they have locations in Manhattan and Brooklyn. I think there might be some other ones like in Queens. I don't know. I never really bothered to look, but we usually go. Uh, to Manhattan to go, and I think we've actually no, we've gone to Brooklyn before too, if I'm not mistaken, just to go eat. Like that's our plan. Like that's how we do it. Like if we're gonna do something like that, we plan our day around that. So when I get out of work, I come home, take a shower, I'm getting dressed, everybody's already ready. They're just waiting for me, and then we're gone. And because we're gonna
nice.
spend the whole day there, like we're spending the rest of the night there.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, because it's not some place where you would just if you go here to just eat and leave, you defeat the whole purpose of it.
yeah, you
Truthfully.
wild. I'm spending like 2.5 hours there.
Yeah, I mean, because while you're waiting for your food, I mean, yeah, it's great to have that conversation with each other, but it's also great to have that time of being able to play, especially if it's a two-player game, playing that game together. You know what I
And
mean? That just seems like so much fun. And yeah, this is a definite destination for me now.
now that I think about it, I think we do that at every restaurant we go to. Like we always buy the extra thing that you want to try, but you're not sure if you want to eat it. So
Yes,
you're with other people, so you like, okay, I'll just get this, and if I don't like it, we'll just cut it in half, and then you can have the rest of it. You know what I mean? And
that's
I'll just
true.
see if I enjoy it. So we do that a lot because I know here they have this maple bacon burger.
Oh,
It's good.
damn.
My wife doesn't like it too much, but it's good.
No.
And so she wanted to try it. And so I'm like, all right, you can get it. And then I got like a chicken bacon because they serve beef, so that's a
Hmm.
big deal for me. They do beef bacon. Um, so she got the burger the last time we went, and she didn't like it. And me and my son destroyed that burger, bro.
See, I mean, that's what you gotta do sometimes.
Like to the point where he
So,
went up and got another burger, and that's what he got.
damn. So they've got, let's see, downtown Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Bushwick, East Village, Chelsea, excuse me, Johnson City, and Center Reach. So they got
Yeah,
them around. Well, the Center Reach
yeah,
one is coming. That it's not there yet, but it'll be
yeah.
there
Coming soon.
hopefully this year. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yes, this just became a destination for me because I mean the gaming alone is cool, but if I go there with people, some can talk, some others can play, switch it up, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, oh, I died. Oh, here, you take the sticks, go from there.
yeah.
Phenomenal, man. It's absolutely phenomenal.
And they've got a milkshake that's called cinnamon toast crunch milkshake,
Ooh,
which is really good. It's really really good.
damn. There's nothing better than I don't drink a lot of milk, but there's just something that every so often you got to have that milkshake. That milkshake can just make the whole day kind of just go away. Whatever happened during the course of that day, you're like, yeah, all right, it's
All
done.
right,
It's
yeah,
over. It's done. It's done. It's over. It's over with. Because I got a cinnamon toast crunch milkshake, and that doesn't happen every day. I,
it's really dope.
look, sketch. Those were I don't know. Like you gave me some great favorite comics. You gave me two restaurants I need to go to. Okay, and you're giving us this incredible comic. There's nothing else that I can ask from you, sir. There's nothing else that I can ask from you today.
Appreciate that.
Seriously.
Appreciate that.
But do you have any final words for the folks?
Um, I would definitely say nothing is out of bounds as far as creativity goes.
Yes.
If even if your idea might seem taboo at the time, there's always going to be an audience for it. So I would say don't beat yourself up about it. Try it and see what happens. If you don't get the response that you're looking for, um, try another idea. But I can honestly say that I, I attempted to do comic books, especially in my teens, like 16, 17, a few times. I wrote letters to Marvel and Image, and I got this is not what we're looking for at the time. I even did Spawn as a pimp. I mean, Darkness, sorry. I did Darkness as a pimp and sent it to them. as you know, just an idea so I could showcase my art. And it was
Right.
like not what we're looking for right now. And then, you know, for a while I gave up on comic books. Like I'm like, you know, I like reading them, but I guess I'll never be a comic book artist because they don't really want me. And that wasn't what it was. It literally was what they said. They weren't looking. My style of art was not uh, what was common at the time because I there's a fine line between manga style art and
Hmm.
Western art, and my art is like something in between
Right.
because I was influenced by Spriggan and Akira, and you know those type of Ninja Scroll mixed with you know Incredible Hulk and Jim Lee and Marvel. So I would say definitely just pursue your goal with fervor, but keep in mind, you know, you're not always going to get that yes. Um, and nobody's going to be more enthusiastic about your stuff like you are. So that
Yep.
doesn't mean that it's no good, though. You know,